Have you ever had to bring a friend to a family reunion where you couldn't enjoy your abuela's famous arroz con frijoles because you had to be Rosetta Stone for the rest of the night? Well, most people believe that being bilingual has its benefits, but in reality, it's more of a blessing and a curse. Being bilingual causes more hardships for people when they with their ability when it comes to reading, writing, and public speaking. I thought the only proof I had regarding my problem was found in memes, but there are actual studies that focus on my theory. I've asked friends and family about it, and they all have trouble with one of these three situations I've mentioned before. First, I will go over the study mentioned above. If you hear a language you don't understand while reading, writing, or public speaking, then you'll find it easier to get stuck, or not to get stuck. There exist switching costs that cause people to lower the speed they are reading, writing, or public speaking and when engaging in a bilingual situation because the person is thinking of what they want to say in their native language while they're trying to convey their message in a different language. Most commonly, when you speak, you tend to speak slower in another language versus your primary language. There's a response selection hypothesis that causes bilingual speakers to get stuck in situations where words can respond to either languages. For example, the word no, you read it and write it in Spanish and English the same. But when you speak it, it depends on if you have an accent. That's how you know whether it is being said in Spanish or in English. Second, I'll go over my personal experience regarding the situations I mentioned. As a native speaker who went to school in mostly English, I still have problems writing and reading in Spanish to this day. I've never been able to do it properly, only speak it, which is it's easier than all the other two. To this day, like I'd rather read and write in English mostly because I feel confident in that I'm doing it properly. And also, the idea of switching costs is something that I've dealt with when reading, writing, and public speaking, but especially public speaking because when I think in Spanish what I want to say in English, it leads to things I say not being grammatically correct sometimes. And so, also, when I speak, if I get nervous, I'll usually forget a specific word in English, but absolutely know in Spanish or the other way around. Another thing is I end up speaking Spanglish, meaning half of the words I say are in English and half of the words are in Spanish all combined in one sentence. Um, Finally, I will discuss tips on how to improve this problem. Personally, I think that have things that have worked for me are trying to slow down sometimes when I speak, and even though this is a general advice for public speaking, by slowing down and concentrating on what you're trying to say, you won't make as many mistakes. Even though I know sometimes slowing down is kind of hard because it is for me, because when I get really nervous, I start speaking even faster than I should. And in regards to having difficulty reading and writing, you should read books that don't have like many elaborate words and work your way up from there. I know to this day I still avoid reading and writing in Spanish because I don't feel confident enough doing it. And when I try to write something, I have to double check it with somebody like my parents just to make sure that it's written correctly. And well, Spanish books, I just steer clear from them, honestly, because I find them extremely hard to this day. Also, keep in mind the 3 points I mentioned above are still theories, which mean that research is still being conducted to turn them into facts. So, by acknowledging these theories, you become, by acknowledging these theories, you become more conscious when you're having trouble working your way through these situations. The most important thing everyone should work on is slowing down and thinking of what you're going to say before you say it, which is the best way to improve this problem. Although, in the end, while being bilingual may cause problems into your everyday life, you should really always try to learn more languages because I think that the more languages, the better. But at the same time, it's more it can get even more confusing because, for example, French, they say it's easier if you know Spanish to speak French, but really it's not that easy because of that pronunciation. But when you read it, it's really easy to understand. Thank you.